Alright, this is going to be a series review with no spoilers on the John Wayne Cleaver Trilogy by Dan Wells. I don't have the first one, but I've read it multiple times. That is, I'm Not a Serial Killer, and the second one is Mr. Monster, and the third one is I Don't Want to Kill You. And this trilogy is surprisingly not on YouTube that much. There's a few reviews of I'm Not a Serial Killer, but not about all of them, which I was surprised because they're really, really good books. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the general theme throughout, like what it's about. It's basically about, in basic terms, this boy named John Wayne Cleaver, who is 15 and 16 throughout the series, and he is diagnosed as a sociopath. And he's obsessed with serial killers, and he's an expert on serial killers and death and all that kind of stuff. And ironically enough, he lives above a mortuary in this small town of Clayton County with his mother and aunt who own this mortuary. So he's been helping out in there since he was a young child. So that's kind of his world, and he's within the story, he's also battling himself because he has like a alternate personality called Mr. Monster, and in order for him to control Mr. Monster, he develops rules such as if he gets too close to somebody, he needs to stay away from them for a week. If he feels like hurting somebody, he has to say a nice compliment, that kind of thing. And he has a tendency to call people it instead of a he or a she. So that's kind of throughout the whole series, him struggling between himself and this alter Mr. Monster that he tries to keep hidden away. So the first book, you're just kind of getting information, and then in I Am Not a Serial Killer, John becomes in all his glory because some killings start happening in his town, and he gets so excited about this and so happy. So he kind of goes on his own little investigation to figure this out, because this is now his chance, because he is such an expert on serial killers and everything that now he gets to experience it firsthand. So he's really excited about that. That's kind of what the first book is about. And then the second book, Mr. Monster, is like a perfect continuation from the ending of the first book. And this one you kind of are getting to see more of John and his interworkings with himself, like his battle between him and like his multiple personality and stuff. And this is really, really good. This one had quite a few twists and stuff, and yeah, these are like action, psychological thriller kind of books, and they're told through John's perspective. So I think that works with the way it's written, because you're hooked immediately from like the first sentences. You just want to keep reading. And the third one is a lot different than the first two in the content of it, because the first two, it's a lot of, you're learning about him, you're learning like, because he talks a lot about working in the mortuary and stuff, so you kind of get like those processes. But in this one, it's more about him and his mission to do some things. So this one is really good. I will say this, the ending kind of, I don't know, it was what I was expecting, but not really, because I had high hopes for it not to be predictable, because it hasn't been predictable throughout the whole series really. So yeah, and this one I kind of took my time with, because I knew it was supposedly the last one, because I heard it was a trilogy, but I don't know now. So yeah, I would recommend these books. Just pretend that the first one is right here. But I do recommend these, even if you don't like these like kind of not true crime, but like crime and like horror kind of books, because they're really good despite that. And I don't want to tell you why, because that would completely just destroy everything. So I won't, but if you do get a chance, I would definitely check these out. And if you've read I'm Not a Serial Killer, then read these other two books, because yeah, I think you'll really like them. These are probably one of my new favorite, not my favorite of all time, but they're obviously my favorite books now because they're really good, and I would read these again because it's just a really good, it's a really good story. It's really original too. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because it's through like a teenager's point of view. I don't know, but they're really, really good books. And this one is my favorite cover because, as you can see, it's got like cut marks in it, and it's kind of a symbolizing the theme throughout that book. So anyway, those are it. And they run like, I think, well, I got them for, this one I bought when Borders was going out of business, and this one I bought for $11.99, so they're definitely worth the price. So yeah, that was just kind of a series review kind of thing. I give these books, this whole series overall, a 5 out of 5 for all of them because they're all really good books. They are original and they're really good. I think even if you didn't, like I said, even if you didn't like these kinds of books, if you wouldn't think you would, you should try it and see what happens and see if you're not immediately hooked through the first page or so. So that is my review on Dan Wells' Trilogy, his debut trilogy actually, and thank you for watching. Bye.